So how many of you know what a bucket list is? Let me see by a show of hands. And how many of you have a bucket list? Now, great. Think about the items on your bucket list. Any of you have go bankrupt on your bucket list? Well, neither did I. And here's how it happened. I was about 27 years old, out of university, and I wasn't making the money I wanted to make. I didn't have the job I wanted to have. And so I decided I'm going to take matters into my own hands and I'm going to start my own business. I was really passionate about health and wellness, anti-aging and beauty. So I was going to open the best anti-aging spa ever. Found myself a partner who was equally passionate. We wrote a business plan. We secured a $250,000 line of credit. We found a location. We negotiated the deal. We found a designer, and we built the most beautiful anti-aging spa ever. I can remember it's about 1 week before we're going to open the doors. We got everything we need. Everything's built out. We have top-of-the-line equipment. We have full inventory. And we're just missing one thing. Clients. You know, most people go and work for someone else. And they build a clientele, and then they decide they're going to open their own business, and they take their clientele with them. I did not do that. You see, back then, ignorance was bliss. So I remember thinking, we got to do something, and we got to do something fast. So we created a marketing plan, which drove lots of traffic to the spa, and being the great saleswomen that we were, we transferred them to paying clients. Fast forward the story 3 years later, with the biggest growth years behind us, business wasn't going so well. I can remember being in my office, writing checks out to this PST and GST. And I remember thinking, why does PST and GST get to make more money than me? I'm the one working 6, 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. And I remember thinking, this has got to change. So I came up with an idea, and I presented it to my business partner. She was not so interested in that idea. And you know, we had no shareholders agreement back then, so making decisions and moving forward was very difficult. I decided to go see my lawyer, and my lawyer said, young lady, your business is hemorrhaging money. Are you married to your business? And I said, no. I'm married to my husband and my house. I don't want to lose my house. And he said, well, I recommend you go bankrupt. And I can remember thinking, I got 2 fabulous choices to choose from. I can either continue working at the spa 6, 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, making $0 on a bad month and $2,000 on a good month. Or I can choose to go bankrupt and start a new life for myself. Nice, easy choices. I chose to go bankrupt and start a new life for myself. Now, here's how I felt about it. I felt really sad, you know? Like if any of you ever created something from nothing, you would know it takes a lot of time and energy and finances and sacrifice. It's like birthing a baby when you start a business. So I felt like I lost something. Like something I needed to grieve. And I was ashamed and embarrassed, you know, because I was a smart girl. Because smart girls start their own businesses. And I felt stupid, because stupid people fail. And I felt like a failure. And what I did was I grabbed all those emotions, and I balled them up, and I like stuffed them. You know, like I'll paint a picture of what it would be like. It's like there's this little me that's this whole expression of all of these emotions. And then there's this big me, taking little me and all those emotions and like stuffing it into like a Coke bottle, like really just jamming it down, you know, and there's little me trying to get out. Let me out, please, I can't breathe in here. And big me's like, shut up, nobody has to know you're stupid and a failure. It'll be okay, people will understand. You know, and the big me muscles it and puts the cap on, and if you look down, you see this little me who's way too big for the Coke bottle, like sticking out, you know, gasping for air. And big me just keeps on trucking. You know, what it drove me to do is it drove me to find out everything there was to know about business and sales and communication and strategy. Because I was never going to go bankrupt again. I was never going to experience that kind of failure again. So I better go learn. Because when you fail, you lose. You lose a lot. But I want to share with you what I really lost. What I really lost was the opportunity to be okay with making mistakes. I really lost the opportunity to grieve something that I put my heart and soul into. Having to be so strong, going to produce all these results, I really lost the opportunity of letting go. Like that would have really helped me out in a lot of areas of my life if I would have learned that. I really lost the opportunity to be loving and gentle with myself. Because what nobody sees is that I'm up between 4:30 and 7 in the morning working, down at 10 or 11 at night working all night. On the weekends, cuddling in bed with my husband, he's watching TV, I'm working. Like being loving and compassionate with myself was something I really lost. What I really lost was the opportunity to share myself with someone else and relieve myself of some of this pain and shame. Because that's what gets relieved when you connect with another human being. What I really lost was the opportunity to be okay and ask for help. Asking for help would have really helped me out in a lot of areas of my life too. And so I became numb. And what I really lost was the opportunity to be seduced and romanced by life. Here's what I learned. I learned that the only person who has to accept me is me. And when I do, I experience heaven on earth. And I learned that I have to be myself. You see, I've seen all these business people do it a certain way, and all these speakers do it a certain way. I tried to do it like them too. It just never worked. I learned for me to be successful, I need to do it my way. I learned I always get what I ask for, just doesn't always look like I want it to. Like I want to be a great businesswoman, just didn't know I had to go bankrupt first to get there. I learned that my success is directly correlated to my commitment. And so these days, when I want something or I want to produce a result, I go through this process. I ask myself, do I really want that result? And then I ask myself, why do I want that? Because I want to make sure it serves me, that it's not coming from a place of ego. And then I ask myself, am I committed to making that happen? And then I ask myself, who do I have to be to make that happen? Because what I've learned is that your results require you to be a particular person. And so if I say yes to all of those questions, then I don't complain about it, and I embrace it, and I create the context as this is the opportunity for me to be trained and developed and transformed into the person I choose to be to produce the results I want. I learned that the biggest learning comes from failure, and you can't succeed without it. I learned that failure tells you exactly what you need to strengthen and shows you the exact pathway to success. And I learned that success is the gift you get from implementing your learning from failing. I learned not to listen to the stupid stories I make up in my head that disempower me. I learned that the minute I commit to producing a result, the first thing I see is the gap between where I am now and where I want to be. And that's a pretty big gap sometimes, and I learned not to freak out. I learned success for me today is when I can love deeply, express freely, and play often. Thank you very much.